Valley of the Sun, Buddy Ryan has built the Arizona Cardinals in his traditional way, by defense. Tough interior linemen, imposing linebackers, and all-pro cornerbacks are the hallmarks of Buddy Ball. But the Cardinal defense struggled in Week 1, a disappointing loss to the Redskins. 1995, a year of change in Philadelphia, a new head coach, a star running back, and a new offense for Randall Cunningham. But Philadelphia started slowly in Week 1, raising more questions than answers. And tonight, the Eagles hope to right themselves in an important division matchup. The second Sunday in September finds us in the Valley of the Sun in Tempe, Arizona, just on the edge of downtown Phoenix. Week number 2 for the NFL on TNT, and do not let anybody tell you that there is a hint of fall in the air. I understand how she feels. We have about a half-full house. Both these teams, Philadelphia and Arizona, stumbled out of the gate last week. The Philadelphia Eagles losing at home to Tampa Bay, and the Arizona Cardinals on the road, where they lost to the Washington Redskins. Good evening, everybody. I'm Vern Lundquist along with Pat Hayden. Really a tough week for both teams, and specifically for Ricky Watters of the Philadelphia Eagles. He had a horrid start in his first full game with Philadelphia, Pat. 2.2 yards per carry average. He had 2 fumbles in the game, and most critically and significantly, he had 2 short-armed attempts to catch passes over the middle with the game on the line.
Yeah, Ricky Watters breached an athletic code of conduct, and by not giving maximum effort in those 2 pass plays in the fourth quarter. Let's go back to one of them and show you what happened. The game was still in reach here when Randall Cunningham was scrambling around, trying to make something happen. They were trailing, and he stops. And that is unacceptable in the National Football League. Now, the best thing that he can do today is go out and have a good game. But I think even more importantly, Vern, is to play hard every single play.
Well, the new head coach of the Eagles, Ray Rhodes, has spoken with Ricky Watters at length this week. But he was critical not only of Watters, also of his offense as a whole.
Well, they've always been talking about this West Coast offense, but it doesn't mean diddly unless you execute. And they didn't last week. They didn't score an offensive touchdown. They had 5 sacks and 2 turnovers. And Ray Rhodes was talking to us yesterday about Randall Cunningham, his quarterback, and he said, you looked at his statistics, and he was 25 of 36, and those are kind of nice numbers, but I don't care about stats, he said. I want to win football games, and I want Randall Cunningham to be more aggressive inside the 20, get the ball to Fred Barnett more.
Philadelphia playing at home last Sunday. They are humiliated by Tampa Bay. Buddy Ryan's Arizona Cardinals take their trek back east, and they get embarrassed by the Washington Redskins, particularly, Pat, defensively.
Well, when you think about Buddy Ryan, you always think about defense. It was an embarrassment last week what happened to him. Look at what happened statistically to his team. 456 of total yards, and even more amazingly, 259 yards rushing. About 100 of those came on 2 reverses. They played poor third down defense when historically they played that well. And today he's still going to run the same defense, Vern, I promise you. They're going to attack, they're going to blitz Randall Cunningham, and it becomes a game of time. If you can protect your quarterback, you have a chance at some long plays. If you don't, it's a game of fumbles and interceptions and sacks and a lot of punts.
Well, though their defense was ineffective last week, they do boast one of the emerging stars in the league defensively, Eric Swan.
Yeah, I don't think he's emerging anymore. I think he's a true star. This is a guy that Ray Rhodes said, hey, you absolutely have to start with your offensive game plan where Eric Swan's going to be. And he said, I promise you, we're going to double team him tonight and all night.
Well, I find it not just a tiny bit ironic that we're going to end this brief conversation by equating Buddy Ryan and offense in the same sentence.
Yeah, and particularly with Garrison Hurst, their running back, who had his best game as a pro last week, 97 yards and 17 carries. And Buddy Ryan said to us, we didn't use Garrison Hurst enough last week. They only carried 17 times. He'll carry it 25 to 30 tonight.
As we said, it's a Torchwood. 98 degrees. They swear the humidity is only 26%. That means it's a dry heat. Winds out of the south at 5 miles per hour, and the forecast is partly cloudy. The Cardinals will receive. They won the toss, and that means Gary Anderson will kick off. As you can see, there are a lot of empty seats here at Sun Devil Stadium. The Cardinals did sell out 3 times last year during an 8-8 season. Gary Anderson, by the way, had kickoff problems last week. And as a result, the Eagles are next to last in kickoff coverage. That's stat after week 1. The ball is taken by Lorenzo Lynch. No, it's Ryan Terry. And Terry, number 31, is out to the 26-yard line. Dave Craig, ineffective in his first game as a Cardinal last week. He was 10 of 22, and he had 3 interceptions last year in Detroit. In leading the Lions to a 5-2 mark at the end of the year, he threw only 3 interceptions.
Vern, I think one of the redeeming qualities of athletics is that you still have to prove yourself and to your teammates and to your coaches even after 15 years in the NFL. And that's what Dave Craig has to do. He still has to prove himself.
Ray Rhodes said, "We know him well. He can be hot and cold." Ed Cunningham is over center. Here's the handoff to Garrison Hurst. No, it's Larry Centers, number 37. Centers and Hurst in the backfield. And let's check the Cardinal backs and receivers. Rob Moore, Frank Sanders, the rookie. Wendell Gaines, the tight end. Hurst and Centers in the backfield. The offensive line, Duval Love, Cunningham, Redmond, Ernest Dye matched up against Mike Mamula. We'll watch that matchup today. And Larry Tharp is at right tackle. Second down, 8. Ball at the 35. Chad Fan, number 86, is in motion. Here's Hurst. He tests left tackle. They go right at Clyde Simmons, number 96, and Mark Gunn. I'm thinking, I knew that was going to happen. Clyde Simmons used to wear 96 for the Eagles.
Right, yeah.
It's very hot here in the Valley of the Sun. The defensive line you saw here, the linebackers Romanowski, Gavea, and William Thomas, and the defensive secondary, Mark McMillan. Derek Frazier had a tough week last week. Zordich and Jackson are the safeties. It's Mark Gunn, number 96, at right defensive tackle. Out of the shotgun, Centers goes left. Has Anthony Redmond leading the way, short of the first down, and the Cardinals will have to punt as they reach only the 42.
Boy, that's a good play about Derek Frazier. You know, you were mentioning he got burned last week in the passing game, but that's a very good run support, because if he didn't come up and make the play, that's a first down. He fought off the block of Rob Moore, and that's a very good third down play by Derek Frazier.
Jeff Beagles is on to punt, number 10. Loose ball, scramble, and it's going to be ruled down at the 43. It was a fake punt.
That was to Lassiter, the up back, number 42. You know, on a 3rd and 8 early in the game, I don't know, Vern. I mean, I can see it when it's, 4th and 8. When it's 4th and 2, 4th and 3 maybe, but 4th and 8 is a long way to go to try to make that play.
Let's take a look at it again. Kwame Lassiter is the up back.
He's the up back. The ball is going to get snapped to him. And it looked like there was an opening early in the play, but I tell you, it was just good defensive play by special teams. He fought off the block. It was Zordich, number 36, who fought off the play, and he was not fooled. Now, I take that back. That was 4th and 2, but good special teams.
Yeah, it sure was. Michael Zordich wasn't fooled by it, as we were. Kwame Lassiter took the short snap, came right. Zordich got him. And here's Randall Cunningham, and the Eagles open at the 43-yard line of the Arizona Cardinals.
And the Eagles need a complete game out of Randall Cunningham this week. Played well in the first half last week, not particularly well in the second half.
1st and 10, Philadelphia. Barnett goes wide to the right. Ed West is the tight end. He's tight right. The handoff to Ricky Waters. And he's inside the 40, finally tackled as he reaches the 37-yard line. Barnett and Calvin Williams at wide receivers for Philadelphia. West, the tight end. Waters and Kevin Turner in the backfield. Up front, an offensive line that had real problems last week. McIntyre, McKenzie, Joe Panis. Lester Holmes is at right tackle, number 73. Second down. Quick setup. That pass is complete. Ricky Waters makes the grab, and he's out of bounds short of the first down at the 36-yard line. And defensively, after Lorenzo Lynch makes that tackle, Bankston, Simmons, Swan, and Wilson up front. The linebackers, Joyner, Hill, and Terry Irving. And in the defensive backfield, Williams and Patrick Hunter, who had a difficult week last week, Lorenzo Lynch, and Brent Alexander. 3rd and 1. Kevin Turner in the backfield. Cunningham, ball is tipped, incomplete, 4th down.
Brings up a late flag. Yeah, they'll get the first.
Number 86, Fred Barnett. There is a flag on the play.
Howard Rowe is our referee.
Yeah, that'll give him the first. Again, I've seen a couple, strange calls early in this football game, to be perfectly honest. But one was the fake punt on the first series, and then there it was fourth. I think it was less than a yard, and they didn't give Kevin Turner or Ricky Water a chance to try to run for it. They tried to throw the ball. They got the pass interference, so the drive stays alive.
First down, 10 at the 32. Opening moments of a wacky start to this game. Now Kevin Turner lines up, slot to the right side. He's in motion. The toss to Waters coming left. At the 30-yard line.
Ricky Waters on the carry.
Well, one of the plans for the Eagles was to run to the left and run toward Clyde Simmons. And Vern, because Clyde Simmons was burned twice last week on reverses, they felt he was going to play very, very wide. And the Eagles felt they could run left and run inside of a very wide playing defensive end Clyde Simmons.
Second down and 8. No score. First Philadelphia drive after they stopped the fake punt by Arizona. In West in motion, Cunningham, whoops, whistle, and a flag. Here's Howard Rowe.
Prior to the snap, they got a false start on number 86 offense. 5-yard penalty, repeat second down.
Well, here's a situation, too, where Arizona's defense, when they get you down in scoring territory or field goal range, they even come after you even more, Vern. Now they're in a 2nd and, 15, and they like to get the sack and take you out of field goal range. So they'll blitz a lot in the middle of the field, but when you get down to scoring territory, they come after you even more.
Backs are split on second down. Blitz coming. They got, oh no, Cunningham scrambles out, fumbles the ball, but he is ruled down by contact. So it's a dead ball fumble, and the Eagles retain possession. They'll have a 3rd and 10.
Yeah, one of the things the Cardinals want to do when rushing Randall Cunningham was not let their defensive ends run too far past him. When they get on his level, they kind of squeeze him into the defensive tackles. The defensive ends do a terrific job there. Joyner's playing defensive end on this down. They don't really run past him. They force him into the traffic. He almost escapes, but a well-designed pass rush there by Ronnie Jones, the defensive coordinator of the Cardinals.
3rd and 11. No score. Early first quarter. Blitz. Cunningham with time. Deep. Man open, overthrown. Barnett was there.
Yeah, Barnett was wide open on the post. You're going to have 4, 5, maybe 6 big play opportunities against this Cardinal defense. And when you get them and you protect the quarterback, you have to take advantage of them. Randall Cunningham had Barnett. It started with timing. Even though there's a free safety blitz and a strong safety blitz, it's a strong safety blitz, he still had plenty of time to get the ball to Fred Barnett. And he was wide open. It should have been a touchdown.
Gary Anderson is on to try the field goal. This will be 51 yards for Anderson. Tommy Hutton is new holder. Hudson snaps it. The kick is up, and the kick is no good. So despite the alert stop on the fake punt, the Eagles come up empty. Arizona gets the ball back with 9:16 to go first quarter. 9:16 to go opening quarter. 32-year-old John Gruden and his 32-year-old quarterback, Randall Cunningham.
Well, coaching prodigy. It's hard to believe that he is only 32 years old, but he's been in 7 different spots, coaching for 11 seasons. But the Ray Rhodes, when he got the head coaching job, John Gruden was his first hire. Hired him from Green Bay.
Scoreless first quarter. Cardinals' second possession. Ed Cunningham